Hey, welcome to the video. Welcome to Medellin. My name is Christopher Buell, and you may not know of me from such books as Golden Nuggets of Hobo Wisdom and Golden Nuggets of International Dating. Today's video is going to talk about my experience with a local MMA gym, as well as some other general thoughts on the people here. And I wanted to tell you the story. Essentially, at the time that I found the gym, I was by the Bicentennial train stop. I would go to that stop every day. I mean, it was just my point of getting anywhere out of the city. And one day, I happened to go on foot looking for a restaurant, came back at a slightly different angle, and saw the sign and the door for this particular MMA gym. And I'm thinking, you gotta be kidding me. I walked past this gym 100 times, and I've never seen it. And I walked up upstairs. It's always a little intimidating. You don't know what you're walking into. And a man walks over to me. I have no idea what he said, but I said, "Habla inglés." And he said, "Yeah, I'm American." And right away, started chatting with this guy that owns this particular gym. And, you know, he is, I believe he's got a parent that is Puerto Rican. Anyways, speaks perfect Spanish. And he and I share a lot of the same thoughts and feelings about the United States versus here. And, you know, at some point in a future video, I'll talk more about that. But it was fun to learn his story. And he had been living here for 5 years, absolutely loves Medellin, doesn't want to move. And about 3 years ago, he had started this particular gym. And I want to play some video and talk to you a little bit about the gym so you can see it. You can see his students. And coming right. Okay, so right away you're going to see me attempting my best effort at jumping rope. And there's a reason my back is to you, because it's too repulsive to show you my front. Putting that aside, this is essentially like the patio / front door area. That's the Bicentennial stop I was telling you about. And this is the view. This is what I'm looking at every day as I'm sitting there jumping rope. I never get tired of looking at it. Absolutely breathtaking. Here's yours truly doing his best effort to work a water bag. Really wasn't my goal to show my sloppy technique, but to show you an idea of what the gym looks like. You could see right here a couple, I don't know, he had held an event, and I don't know what the crowd was, 20, 50 people, I have no idea. But right here, I want to talk about his students a little bit. This particular guy wearing the yellow shorts, this is his first fight, and you know, they've been focusing primarily on kickboxing. The opponent is from a rival gym that focuses mostly on mixed martial arts. So they're professional MMA fighters fighting in kickboxing against amateurs that only do kickboxing. This particular guy right here came in 8 months ago and weighed over 300 pounds. And they were showing me the before pictures. And he's probably 17 or 18, you know, comes from a tough neighborhood. And the referee is the owner, the guy I was telling you about, of the gym. And he's got this core group of students that he's fine-tuning to be professional fighters. And these guys are in the gym at 5 in the morning. I think they train till noon or something, and then they come back at 5. I mean, he's got them working like you can't possibly imagine. And I actually kind of worried that he's overtraining him, but the results certainly speak for themselves. He told me, "Listen, Christopher, you're going to see all 3 of my guys get 3 knockouts." And this is the next fighter of the night in yellow that came in almost at exactly the same time as the first gentleman. And really, the stories are very similar. These guys, they're fighting for real. I mean, they're not going to college. This is it. And Colombia isn't exactly a place known for fighting, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But I wanted to highlight this third gentleman in yellow. This is the teacher's star pupil, and he's been with them for 3 years now. And he is 15 years old. And, you know, it's one of those things. He is as unassuming as it comes, and he's a killer. I could be wrong, but I want to say he's got something like 30 fights, 30 knockouts. I mean, he's just he's a trained killer, and as unassuming and as kind as you can imagine. And it reminds me of the story. This is very much inside baseball about MMA of Jimi Hendrix. Johnny Hendrix, not Jimi Hendrix. Johnny Hendrix. Johnny Hendrix was found by like essentially a group of investors that invested in 50 up and coming wrestlers, and with the goal that one of the 50 is going to make it, and Johnny Hendrix ended up making it big time. Well, that's essentially what this teacher's doing. He really is focusing all his energy on his 3 students, and it reminds me of the, going to stop the video here. Okay, so what I was saying was that Malcolm Gladwell, famous author, had come up with this theory that essentially if one puts in 10,000 hours of work, of practice, of whatever it is, you will be an expert. 10,000 hours is 40 hours a week for 10 years. And he, gives a lot of examples like Bill Gates, had a computer as a teenager and every day worked and then became Bill Gates. These particular students will be world champions. I mean, they are putting the time in. They are as dedicated as you can possibly imagine. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the fighting spirit of Colombia. So I grew up in El Paso, Texas, and to be anyone in El Paso, Texas, you got to be tough. But to be a skinny, geeky little white boy, yeah, man, you're going to be fighting, okay? And Mexican culture is something that I'm pretty familiar with. And not that it's a secret. I mean, everybody knows about Mexican boxing, and there's bravado and there's toughness and there's cholos, and so coming down to Colombia, I'm sure this is going to be really politically incorrect, but I'm thinking they kind of look alike and they speak the same language, and I just assumed there'd be a lot of tough guyness here. Not to mention there's that whole Pablo Escobar thing. What do I know? Yeah, I don't know anything, because the people here are so kind. That fighting spirit, there is no Colombian boxing. There's no Colombian wrestling team. They're not a fighting people. Now, this is according to my MMA gym teacher, that the Colombians are more about embracing the earth, being indigenous people, and boning all their beautiful Colombian women. And going to an MMA gym doesn't help you in achieving any of those goals. So I will say this, though. The people here, obviously not all of them, but the complaint is that they're opportunistic. And what I mean by that is my little fake wife, for example, used to live in the same neighborhood that the gym is in, that I was living in. And by the way, almost without a doubt, every Uber driver would tell me that it's not a safe neighborhood. And my little fake wife had been kicked in the stomach and robbed. And she's 5'2". I never once had a problem. Now, having said that, I come home by 10 o'clock every night. Okay, I'm lying. I'm home by like 8 every night. But I'm not out till 2 in the morning drinking or whatever. And I do think that, the trouble is here if you present yourself to be vulnerable. Again, 2 days ago, I had met my downstairs neighbor, 69-year-old American, and he walks with a cane. And he told me about how he had taken a taxi. This is some months ago, and the taxi driver didn't help him get his luggage out of the trunk. And he left the briefcase or backpack or something in the front seat. And the guy took off, and he knew it at the time and was trying to wave him down. But there again, the society that Colombia is, it's not in your face tough guy, Mexican vato. It's more, I'm going to steal your phone when you're not looking. Having said that, I'm grateful to have the MMA gym, and I'm grateful I haven't been kicked in the stomach and robbed. So until next time, that is Golden Nuggets Media.